fucking murder someone in broad daylight with his bare fucking hands.
What I'm going to ask you to do now is
in front of
follow the deputy back into your
so many
room,
fucking people,
and I will join you in a few minutes
filmed from numerous angles, where all of the people that were involved tried to stop him, where his own police chief said that this was unacceptable. Other members of law enforcement said this was unacceptable, and yet we still were genuinely worried that this motherfucker might not face justice. That uncertainty alone implies that America still has a very long way to go as far as reaching a actually just justice system. Okay,
written arguments.
We're not even talking about racism. Okay, I'm not even getting to the fucking systemic discrimination within the criminal justice system.
1 week after that.
Okay, we're not even over there. We're not even there yet. Okay. Punishment is not justice. I've said this many times for the chatter who pointed that out. You know my point of view. I do not believe in draconian punitive measures. I think that that is a legitimate problem. Okay? There's a legitimate problem with American culture.
Is there a motion on behalf of
But this is accountability. This is bare minimum accountability.
Bail and remand him into custody, pending sentencing.
Bail is revoked, bond is discharged, and the defendant is remanded to the custody of the Hennepin County Sheriff. Anything further?
All
right. Thank you.
Yep. Going to jail, motherfucker.
We're adjourned.
Remember, this doesn't fucking bring George Floyd back. This doesn't, this doesn't begin to address the horrible things that have happened. It's just a tiny first step. A tiny first fucking step towards a semblance of justice. Or a little bit of accountability for
Chauvin remanded in the custody of the sheriff.
The state of, once again, I gotta repeat myself, historic for the state of Minnesota, where a white cop for the first time ever has been criminally charged for the murder of a black person. Okay? First time.
The reaction can best be summarized by Bree Graham. She's the woman I spoke with just before this verdict was read, who told us that she had been traumatized watching this trial. Bree, what is your reaction? And when that verdict was read, what went through your head?
I honestly, I don't really have the words for it right now, and I'm trying to take everything in. And it feels like we can take the day to celebrate that we're finally getting a taste of justice, and then tomorrow we move on to Dante, and we keep doing this until they give us what we need across the board,
Bree, a few moments ago I saw you you started crying. It was emotional for not just you, but many folks here. Explain to me a little bit more about, what did you have doubts leading into this verdict? How much anticipation, how worried were you about this?
Of course I had doubts. We have doubts every time something happens. I mean, we have doubts when the police say that he's unarmed and, Adam Toledo had his hands up. We have doubts when they lie about what the cameras are. We always have doubts, and this was definitive and this was solidified, and we finally got the justice that we needed. People see it on the news and they don't understand, but living here and breathing this energy in every single day, it's so much, and it finally feels like the smoke has cleared just a tiny bit, enough just to take a deep breath,
Bree, tell our viewers a little bit about yourself. You were telling me you're 31 years old. You've lived in Minneapolis for how long? 10 years?
Yeah, over 10 years in St. Paul and Minneapolis, and this is what I would call home. My friends are here, some of my most important families here.
Incredibly significant moment. I'm glad we were able to share this with you, Bree. Thank you so much for talking with us.
Yeah.
And again, we appreciate your time. Lester, what she told me is something we saw unfold here just within the last few minutes. If we can look around, this is the demonstrators that had gathered here. They all gathered close together to watch the verdict unfold live on their cell phones, and they all gathered in small groups, and some of the feeds came in just a few seconds before the others. different people were yelling guilty on that first count. And then I think once the second and the third count came in guilty, there was just a wave that just rippled across this crowd. And I think if I could sum it up in one word, Lester, it is relief. Relief from a crowd that had been waiting for this verdict for months. Relief from a community that had seen razor wire and barricades and boarded up buildings just engulf downtown Minneapolis. Relief from people like Bree Graham, who did not know what would happen and who told us how this is something she'd been waiting for. And now the question becomes, is this just about George Floyd? What about Dante Wright? What about other police encounters that are still very much on the minds of the demonstrators here? But again, Lester, if I had to sum up what I just saw in the last few moments, it would be relief. Back to you.
Gabe, thank you for just joining us. Guilty on all counts against Derek Chauvin, who watched the jury or looked out toward the judge, his eyes darting, but a very serious, focused look as he heard those counts, all three verdicts read against him. And as we noted, he is now in the custody of the county sheriff there and will remain in custody pending his sentencing 8 weeks from now. Let's turn to criminal defense attorney and NBC News legal analyst Danny Cevallos. Danny, obviously a huge effort on the part of the prosecution in this case, more than 40 witnesses, and they were victorious today.
They were. And I'm sure that if you talk to any of the prosecutors moments before the verdict was read, none of them felt it was a sure thing. None of them felt they had a layup. None of them thought it was a slam dunk, and they shouldn't. I mean, because they always have the burden, the highest burden in our law, beyond a reasonable doubt. They know that it only takes one juror, and it only really takes reasonable doubt about a single element of a crime. So for that reason, that's why you saw so many witnesses paraded through. But the prosecution was very methodical. They had witnesses that went to the emotion of the jurors, witnesses that spoke to the science, that spoke to the use of force. And as we can see, that presentation was very effective, and possibly even that final rebuttal by the prosecution, which was a little more passionate and ended with that memorable line about Derek Chauvin's heart being too small. Not that George Floyd's heart was too large, Derek Chauvin's heart too small. Might have left a real mark on the jury as they went into deliberations. They might have been thinking about that throughout their relatively short deliberations.
I can't believe motherfuckers are angry already on Twitter. Like dudes are really, Ben Shapiro is really on fucking Twitter right now, upset that a murderer cop, like for the first time in fucking Minnesota history, was convicted guilty of murdering a black person, and this motherfucker's already upset. Like, dude, these people are such fucking clowns, dude. I wasn't going to look for malding. I wasn't going to look for fucking gray name takes. But it is so incredible. I'm going to ratio this piece of shit, dude. Fucking asshole. I'll report you for self-harm for watching Shapipi's tweets. I just don't understand how you can be this fucking person. I don't understand how you can look to an instance where, like, you're supposed to uphold the criminal justice system, and, like, you're still looking for some shit. You're still looking for an opportunity. Do you think he'll ever read that? Oh no, Ben does read the tweets in response to him. He's just he 100% sees that shit. It's just that it is wild, dude. Absolutely fucking wild that absolutely wild to me that he sees an instance like, I mean, you're so horny. You are so fucking horny. How horny can you get to see black people fucking suffer, dude? That like the one instance where like it's so open and cut, and the justice system in all of its endless sea of inequalities and unjust actions turns around and like arrives at the fucking correct verdict, and he's still upset. Like, still upset. And don't forget, this is just one case, guys. This is one case. Think about all of the endless instances where the countless times where black people get fucking killed and it's not on camera, or the body camera footage is erased, or the body camera footage, there is no body camera footage to begin with because the leading officer in the case will just be like, turn off your fucking body camera before you do anything. Like, for justice to be served in this instance, it took numerous people trying to interfere. It took countless amounts of actual on the ground first-hand account eyewitnesses. Breonna Taylor never got justice. You know what I mean? And ultimately, it's not like George Floyd got justice either, because there is no justice when George Floyd is dead. Like, what is the fucking justice? It's not like he can get unmurdered. This is not justice. This is accountability. What happens next will be justice, depending on what happens next, depending on what comes after this. Then it could start to be justice. But we're not at justice yet. We're at accountability, okay? Steven Crowder is worried that police are going to quit the force. Expect more police to quit in the coming weeks. Motherfucker, if cops are quitting because they can't do murder, like brutal murder with their hands, then like those cops literally should not be on the police force. Like, good. Murder with their bare hands. Why are you upset? There you go. Fuck you, Steven Crowder, you little bitch. Like, can you imagine? Can you fucking imagine? Can you fucking imagine looking at a situation like this and being like, the mob, led by Democrats at the highest level, successfully initiated the jury into getting the result they wanted before the trial started? Yeah, I'm not even touching Matt Walsh. Fuck that guy. He does not deserve. Look, Ben Shabibo is one thing. His fucking minions, I'm not going to waste time with. Like, motherfuckers in here don't even need to know. Like, these people should be embarrassed to have these opinions. They should be embarrassed or scared to be able to say things like this in public. Ben is always on the wrong side of history. Ahead of the trial for the murder of George Floyd, Ben Shapiro defends Derek Chauvin at length.
Also, the city of Minneapolis, they just backed off of a plan. They had an actual plan to hire social media influencers to combat misinformation during the Derek Chauvin trial. The reason for this, of course, is because we have seen many instances over the past year in which there will be rumors that go around about a particular incident involving police that are just not true, and people then riot based on those rumors. So we have seen that many times over the course of the last year, where there will be a text that goes out that somebody was shot unarmed, and it turns out not only were they not unarmed, they were threatening the police, but a riot starts anyway, because the facts do not matter in these particular cases. Now, the reason I bring this up is because it is a very bad situation. We are in a very bad situation in our country when only a verdict that a particular side of the political aisle likes results in peace, right? In other words, if Derek Chauvin gets convicted of second-degree murder, which I think is an overcharge, legally speaking, this looks more like third-degree murder to me, if that at all, right? Like, there's a better case for excessive force than either of those two. Frankly, I think that Chauvin has a fairly strong defense here. I mean, just on a legal level, put aside the morality of what Derek Chauvin did, Chauvin on a legal level is going to have a fairly strong defense here. And I'm just warning people about this right now, because the way the media are going to portray this is if Derek Chauvin gets off, then it's going to be because the system failed and your eyes are, you can trust your eyes when you watch that tape, but you can't trust the system.
Listen, this is before the trial, but the other thing I was going to say is, I'm fucking tweeting this too, so I'm sorry, spoiler alert, but conservatives should be embarrassed right now to look defeated in this moment. You know what I mean? Like, you can be a conservative and think that Derek Chauvin is a murderer. Like, I will literally say, you can be a conservative and think that Derek Chauvin was a murderer. There are even conservatives who think Derek Chauvin is a murderer. I mean, fucking Pat Robertson was literally saying Derek Chauvin is bad. Now, obviously, the reasoning behind why he was saying that Derek Chauvin is bad was because he thought that, you know, it was riling up the blacks too much. But, you know, even when that motherfucker is on George Floyd's side, then holy shit, like, you should literally feel embarrassed or scared to openly admit your disdain or to look defeated in this moment. You should be embarrassed to look defeated in this moment, but some don't even have the decency to hide their disdain. Like, they are literally straight up, like, Ben Shabibo, Steven Crowder, motherfuckers, they don't even care. Like, they're just straight up like, I am upset. I am upset that a white cop murdered a black person, okay, and couldn't get away with it. I am mad. Like, what the fuck?
Derek Chauvin's defense is pretty straightforward here. His defense is going to be that George Floyd had enough fentanyl in him to kill a horse. Okay, that is going to be his claim. And there's going to be fairly good evidence for that. There was a medical autopsy done after George Floyd died. The medical examiner said explicitly that if George Floyd had been found dead in his house with that level of fentanyl in his blood, then he would have immediately declared it a drug overdose.
This is not even true, but
the medical examiner in that particular case
wrong
struggled to find evidence that the knee on the neck of George Floyd is what actually caused his death.
Wrong.
There's good video evidence from before the actual 8-minute clip that everybody has seen that George Floyd was acting in extraordinarily erratic ways, that he was resisting arrest, that he
does not matter.
Appeared to be suffering from a condition that is known in the police community as excited delirium, where people are high on drugs and then their heart rate starts to rise extremely fast. They start to act very, very erratic. And then if they have underlying health conditions in any way, then in certain instances, they die of that underlying health condition. The Minneapolis statutes with regard to police use of force do allow the kind of hold that Chauvin was using on George Floyd. George Floyd explicitly.
Also, the GG's. Wow. I think that's a bingo. I guess we could continue, but basically every part of this is just wrong. This is all before, by the way, just for the record.
He asked not to be put in the car. They tried to push George Floyd into the car. He said he wanted the windows open. They opened the windows for him. He then pushed his way out of the car. And then he said he wanted to be outside the car, at which point they held him down. And again, just medically speaking, if somebody says that they cannot breathe, if you can say that you can't breathe, that typically means that you can actually breathe. Right? What that means.
Literally wrong. Straight up wrong. That's not the truth at all. Holy shit. I am glad that Harvard-educated lawyer Ben Shabibo decided to not become a fucking trial lawyer and instead became a fucking charlatan grifter for the right, because turns out, like, what do you mean medically speaking? I want to understand, like, does Ben Shabibo believe that because his wife is a doctor that he, by osmosis, kind of like, not dissimilar to Donald Trump, whose uncle was in MIT, understands the medical profession quite well? My wife is a doctor, after all. Therefore, I have the medical proficiency to speak as an expert on this regard. And no one can speak while they're being choked. This is the case. For example, if you're being waterboarded and you start making noises, that means you're technically not being waterboarded, medically speaking. This was all before the trial, I believe. So that's why he's like wrong on every fucking count. Medically speaking, if your wife's P word is wet, then you need a mop. And it is a medical disability.
Medically speaking is that you're having a heart condition. Right? Very often when someone says they can't breathe, that is not because you are having a closure of the trachea, right? It's not about your neck being in some way pressured, right? There's no damage that was actually done to George Floyd's neck in the autopsy. So again, all of this is going to be what the defense is for Derek Chauvin, and they have to prove some level of intent by Chauvin, which is going to be super difficult, right? The notion that you can say that this police officer came to kill that day, right? Which is kind of what you have to say in a second-degree murder trial. First degree, like he fully intended to kill him, he wanted to do it. Second degree is reckless disregard, that he did it knowing that George Floyd might die. That's going to be hard to prove. Again, if they really wanted to get Chauvin, the best they could have done here, I think, is probably an excessive force charge. Now,
Oh, that's really interesting. I too love watching Ben Shapiro, so I can be wrong on all accounts.
Maybe because of all the hubbub surrounding the trial, the jury decides to convict anyway because they don't want.
Like, dude, I mean, honestly, let me do this to Ben. Like, let me do what fucking Chauvin did to George Floyd to Ben Shabibo, if it's not like a serious thing. But here's the reality. If I were to say this out loud, like, motherfuckers could literally be like, he's threatening to harm me physically. Oh, okay, so you understand that it's like literally a felony level aggravated assault where you could end up murdering someone if you were to do that. You know what I mean? That's the inherent irony in how conservatives operate. Like, that's precisely why when Steven fucking Crowder, that asshole who turned around and tried to recreate the murder of George Floyd, the reckless disregard that they have for Black lives, by the way, holy shit. They're like taking it one step beyond murder porn and literally fucking reenacting the murder porn. When Steven Crowder was doing that, he didn't actually do the exact same thing that happened, right? He didn't. The reason why he couldn't do that is because he knows that if he were to do that, he could have fucking died, okay? Twitch posted, death of black people at the hands of the police has been an ever-present issue in American history. The events surrounding this recent trial are a grim reminder of how far we as a society still have to go for basic humanity of others to be valued and treated as sacred. Jesus Christ. Okay, Twitch. Good shit, Twitch. Oh, Keith Ellison is speaking now. I love Keith Ellison. We are waiting on Keith Ellison to speak now.
What's just happened, again, the three,
sorry,
in all counts against Derek Chauvin, second-degree murder, third-degree murder, and second-degree manslaughter.
I just blasted people's eardrums. I'm sorry.
Into custody while he awaits sentencing 8 weeks from now. The crowd largely constrained, subdued in many ways, and certainly showing a sense of relief and satisfaction that the system worked, in their opinion, in this case.
I apologize.
All hoping, of course, that this will be a peaceful evening ahead as this verdict is absorbed, and this city that has been so emotionally wrenched over the last year begins to find its footing amid all this. And here's a picture outside the scene. I guess we can call it the crime scene now. This is where George Floyd took his last breaths, on this corner under the knee of now former officer Derek Chauvin. We saw many pictures of many angles of this intersection, both police body cams, a security camera across the street, even cameras from the convenience store across the street, where George Floyd had visited before his fatal encounter with police. There's a memorial at this site that has been ongoing since after his death, and you can see now people arriving at the scene to pay their respects and to remember all of what happened and what has just happened in all of this. Let me go to NBC correspondent Megan Fitzgerald. Let me sorry, Megan, before we go to you, I understand we had pictures, we had some sound actually from George Floyd's brother reacting to this. Do we have that?
We're here in the family room, and we're going to have a press conference soon. But we just broke down in tears because, you know, all of the work and pain down through the years, all the families, Breonna Taylor's boyfriend is here, and we're going to talk later. But Rodney Floyd, his brother's here. Philonis is on his way from the courthouse. This is a monumental only around. The war's not over. We've got a funeral in 2 days. We've got Eric Garner that never got this. We've got Breonna Taylor never got this. But God brought us through. And the first thing we're going to do with the press conference is have prayer and thank God. Rodney, just tell him how you felt. I know you were crying like I was crying.
Yes. I mean, I'm feeling tears of joy, so emotional that no family in history ever got this far. You know, we was able to get a guilty charge on all accounts. You know, we got a chance to go to trial, and they took it all away. So this right here is for everyone that been in this situation, everybody. We are here. We stand in a unit. Thank you, Brother Sharpton, for being right here with us from the very first day until the last. I know we're not done yet. I love it.
God bless you.
That's Rodney Floyd along with Reverend Al Sharpton. His first reaction after that guilty verdict delivered by a Minneapolis jury today as we again look at the scene. The crowd gathered at that scene where George Floyd took his final breaths. NBC correspondent Megan Fitzgerald is back in downtown Minneapolis for us, giving us a sense of the scene there. Megan?
Yeah, Lester, you know, just seeing those moments there of Rodney Floyd reacting to this verdict, like I was saying, I had a chance to speak with the family yesterday, and they said this is what they've been praying for. And when you really just break it down and think about it, they had to relive the moment that their brother, as they say, was just executed in the street. So this is incredibly traumatic for the family. And then I also talked to them a little bit about the trauma that was felt throughout the country, and they understood that. They understood that this case here was very personal, deeply personal for the entire country. And we see that with the protests that have broken out all across the country of people of all races and nationalities. And so just behind me here, down below, we can hear the honking. We can hear the chants of justice. George Floyd, the crowd has said on several occasions. There is a sense of relief here. And we've been reporting about the tension, about the buildings that have been boarded up, about the anxiety that was mounting in this town as they were awaiting for this verdict. So it's certainly a sigh of relief. It's a moment of hope. I've been texting with people that we met yesterday, many protesters who say a weight has been lifted off of their shoulders. They feel more optimistic that the country is heading in the right direction, that a black person killed at the hands of law enforcement has an opportunity to get justice. And so a lot of hopeful feelings here, Lester, with protesters that are on the ground.
Megan, thank you. As we continue to see the different shots of folks now waving flags and reacting.
The prosecutor's podcast estimated 12.5 years sentencing and found guilty on all three counts, primarily due to him being a first-time offender. Yeah, I don't know if the judge will throw the book at him. The aggravating factors there are.
You know, just seeing Rodney Floyd said it all. That family never gave up, and they know that this verdict will never bring.
Bro, fucking Amy Klobuchar literally speaking out on this is so stupid because she literally defended brutal cops in Minneapolis. Like, are you kidding me? Like, what the fuck? Dude, this is... No, actually, no, it's perfect. This is perfect for the American criminal justice system and American media when, like, not a single person... Oh, shit. What the fuck? What just happened? Oh, no, I think I might have hit the fucking... Hold on. I lost my webcam. Hold on. I think I...
Reverend Al and others have talked about the cases that have not been solved. No one was held in account for her death, and that list goes on and on. What should the takeaway be, at least from this case, in terms of the criminal justice system?
Lester, this is the call for action. This jury did the right thing here, but there's so many cases across the country, and to me, the Senate can't wait anymore. We have to pass police reform. The George Floyd bill. We have to pass police reform and ban chokeholds, and there are so many things that we could do. And Senator Booker is leading this effort in the Senate and doing an incredible job.
Hold on a moment, guys.
I hope my colleagues see this as a beginning.
One second.
It's the beginning.
Senator, great to talk to you. We see the prosecution team here. Mr. Ellison, who you noted, is here as well. So let's listen in.
Thank you.
More room. Yeah, Marie. There's more room on this side. Yeah, more room. Sorry about that. Can you see everybody? Yes, thank you. That's much better. So Natasha, people got to be able to see the baby too.
Especially with the baby right here, right?
Yeah. Baby on board. Yeah. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Keith Ellison. I'm the Attorney General of the state of Minnesota. And since the investigation and prosecution of this case began last May, everyone involved has pursued one goal: justice. We pursued justice wherever it led. When I became the lead prosecutor for the case, I asked for time and patience to review the facts, gather evidence, and prosecute for the murder of George Floyd to the fullest extent the law allowed. I want to thank the community for giving us that time and allowing us to do our work. That long, hard, painstaking work has culminated today. I would not call today's verdict justice, however, because justice implies true restoration. But it is accountability, which is the first step towards justice. And now the cause of justice is in your hands. And when I say your hands, I mean the hands of the people of the United States. George Floyd mattered. He was loved by his family and his friends. His death shocked the conscience of our community, our country, the whole world. He was loved by his family and friends. But that isn't why he mattered. He mattered because he was a human being. And there is no way we can turn away from that reality. The people who stopped and raised their voices on May 25th, 2020, were a bouquet of humanity, a phrase I stole from my friend Jerry Blackwell. A bouquet of humanity, old, young, men and women, black and white, a man from the neighborhood just walking to get a drink, a child going to buy a snack with her cousin, an off-duty firefighter on her way to a community garden, brave young women, teenagers, who press record on their cell phone.
Is Nancy Pelosi fucking joking?
Why did they stop? They didn't know George Floyd. They didn't know he had a beautiful family. They didn't know he had been a great athlete. And they didn't know he was a proud father, or that he had people in his life who loved him. I'll show you what she said in a second. They stopped and raised their voices, and they even challenged authority because they saw his humanity. They stopped and they raised their voices because they knew that what they were seeing was wrong. They didn't need to be medical professionals or experts in the use of force. They knew it was wrong, and they were right. These community members, this bouquet of humanity, did it again in this trial. They performed simple yet profound acts of courage. They told the truth, and they told the whole world the truth about what they saw. They were vindicated by the chief of police, by Minneapolis' longest serving police officer, and by many other police officers who stepped up and testified as to what they saw and to what they knew. What happened on that street was wrong.
Once this is over, I'll show you the Nancy Pelosi tweet. Hold on.
And we owe our gratitude.
Or not a tweet, but her statement at a presser.
We owe them our gratitude for fulfilling their civic duty and for their courage in telling the truth. To countless people in Minnesota and across the United States who joined them in peacefully demanding justice for George Floyd, we say, all of us, thank you. In the coming days, more may seek to express themselves again through petition and demonstration. I urge everyone to honor the legacy of George Floyd by doing so calmly, legally, and peacefully. I urge everyone to continue the journey to transformation and justice. It's in your hands now. I also want to address the Floyd family, if I may. Over the last year, the family of George Floyd had to relive again and again the worst day of their lives when they lost their brother, their father, their friend. I'm profoundly grateful to them for giving us the time we needed to prosecute this case. They have shown the world what grace and class and courage really look like. Although a verdict alone cannot end their pain, I hope it's another step on the long path toward healing for them. There's no replacing your beloved Perry, or Floyd, as his friends called him, but he is the one who sparked a worldwide movement, and that's important. We owe our thanks to the men and women of the jury who gave many hours of their time and attention to carefully listening to the evidence, weighing the facts, rendering a verdict. They are regular people from all walks of life, a lot like that bouquet of humanity on that corner on May 25th and in that courtroom. They answered the call, and they served in a landmark trial. They now deserve to return to their lives. If they ask you to respect their privacy, we ask you to honor that request. I want to acknowledge the remarkable team that helped us prosecute the case. We put everything we had into this prosecution. We presented the best case that we could, and the jury heard us, and we're grateful for that. We had the sole burden of proof in the case, and history shows that winning cases like these can be difficult. I'm proud of every hour, every minute, and every ounce of effort we put in this case, and let me tell you, we spent many hours working on this case, did we not? We, week after week, committee meeting after committee meeting, this team never let up and it never quit. We fought every day, and we did it together. The Attorney General's office together with the Hennepin County Attorney's office. Thank you, sir. And we did it together. I'm deeply grateful to everyone who worked on the case. Most of these folks will tell you it's a bad idea to put together a team of all Michael Jordans. Nobody would want to pass the ball. This team, that was their true strength, is sharing the load, passing the ball, understanding that all of us together are smarter than any one of us alone. And that worked. Although the verdict has been rendered, this is not the end. In the coming weeks, the court will determine sentencing, and later this summer, we expect to present another case. We will not be talking about that. This verdict reminds us how hard it is to make enduring change. And I just want to finish by sharing some important historical legacy, if you allow me. In 1968, the Kerner Commission was formed to investigate the causes of uprisings across major American cities. And a man named Dr. Kenneth Clark, a famous African-American psychologist who, along with his equally accomplished psychologist wife, Mamie, contributed to compelling research in the Brown versus Board of Education case. And Dr. Clark testified at the Kerner Commission. And I want to quote you what he said. I read that report, the one in the 1919 riot in Chicago, and it was as if I were reading the report of investigating the committee of the Harlem riot in 1935, the report on investigating the Harlem riot in 1943, and the report of the McCone Commission on the Watts riot. I must say again in candor to you, the members of this commission, it's like a kind of an Alice in Wonderland with the same moving picture reshown over and over again, the same analysis, the same recommendation, and the same inaction. Those are the words of Dr. Clark in 1968. Here we are in 1920.
I don't want to stop the fucking
2020, 2021. Here we are in 2021.
I don't want to stop
still addressing the same problem.
The take from.
Since Dr. Clark testified, we have seen Rodney King, Abner Louima, Oscar Grant, Eric Garner, Michael Brown, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland.
We're gonna listen
Philando
to Keith Ellison
Castillo,
first.
Laquan McDonald, Stephon Clark, Atiana Jefferson, Anton Black, Breonna Taylor, and now Dante Wright and Adam Toledo. This has to end. We need true justice. That's not one case. That is a social transformation that says that nobody's beneath the law and no one is above it. This verdict reminds us that we must make enduring, systemic, societal change. More than a month ago, months before George Floyd was murdered, the Minnesota Public Safety Commissioner John Harrington and I released the recommendations of our working group on reducing deadly force encounters with law enforcement. What all of us in that working group, including law enforcement, wanted is for everyone to go home safe. Anytime someone doesn't, everyone's lives are changed forever. We need to use this verdict as an inflection point. What if we just prevented the problem instead of having to try these cases? We don't want any more community members dying at the hands of law enforcement and their families' lives ruined. We don't want any more law enforcement members having to face criminal charges and their families' lives ruined. We don't want any more communities torn apart. One way to prevent this.
If you want to see the Nancy Pelosi quote, just look at my Twitter. I posted it on my Twitter or retweeted it.
The use of force.
I'm gonna show you the video in a little bit.
Subtle assumptions. I'm so proud of Chief Arredondo and the Minneapolis police officers who, by their testimony, said enough is enough. And another way to prevent it is by acknowledging and lifting up everyone's humanity, helping communities heal, and officers be well. Another way to prevent it is with accountability. Passing laws and instituting policies and training is important, but they must be more than words on paper, and there must be accountability for violating them. With this verdict, we have brought some accountability. Finally, this verdict demands us to never give up the hope that we can make enduring change. Generations of people said slavery would never end. Generations said Jim Crow would never end. Generations said women would never be equal to men. Generations said if you were different in any way, you could never be a full and equal member of our society. Today, we have to end this travesty of recurring, enduring deaths at the hands of law enforcement. Those beliefs are things we have to focus our attention on. And as I now do close, I just want to say to you, the work of our generation is to put unaccountable law enforcement behind us. It's time to transform the relationship between community and the people who are sworn to protect them from one that is mistrustful, suspicious, and in some cases terrifying, into one that is empathetic, compassionate, and affirming. That will benefit everyone, including police officers who deserve to serve in a profession that is honored, in departments where they don't have to worry about colleagues who don't follow the rules. Now that work is in your hands. The work of our generation is to put an end to the vestiges of Jim Crow and the centuries of trauma, and finally put an end to racism. We can end it. It doesn't have to be with us into the future if we decide now to have true liberty and justice for all. The work of our generation is to say goodbye to old practices that don't serve us anymore and to put them all behind us. One conviction, even one like this one can create a powerful new opening to shed old practices and reset relationships. So with that, I just want to say that I do hope that people step forward and understand that nobody can do everything, but everybody can do something. You can do something the way like everyday people like Donald Williams and Genevieve Hanson and Christopher Martin and Charles McMillan and all those teenagers and young people stepped up and did something. You can do things like help pass the George Floyd Justice and Accountability Act. It's in your hands. Let's get the work done. And now I'd like to invite my friend and partner in justice, Michael Freeman, Hennepin County Attorney.
We've been listening to Keith Ellison. He's the Minnesota Attorney General, along with standing there along with the prosecution team.
All right, I'll show you what the fuck Pelosi said. I mean, leave it up to out of touch Democrats or people like Nancy Pelosi to just like drop a fucking dime, just the absolute flaming take.
So again, thank you, George Floyd. for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that?
And if you can't hear what she's saying at the presser, I will just read it out to you. Oh, here, there's a better video.
Sacrificing your life for justice. Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, for being there to call out to your mom. How heartbreaking was that? Call out for your mom. I can't breathe. But because of you, and because of thousands, millions of people around the world.
Bro, it's like bad if you just say, thank you, George Floyd, for being murdered, right? Like, that's bad enough. But then she's like, thank God you, like, also called out for your mom. Like, it's so fucking bad, dude. Like, what kind of soulless vampire shit is this, dude? How are you so bad at this? I just don't understand. If you've been a politician for this long, you should know how to fucking fake it. You should literally know how to fake it at this point. Like, it's clear to me that she doesn't give a fuck. Okay? But my God, dude. I mean, look, is this I tweeted this, and I guess Jordan tweeted it as well. But like, listen, that presser is this, okay? It's got real fucking I'm a white person wearing the kente cloth energy all over that shit.
Who came out for justice, your name will always be synonymous with justice. Thank you, George Floyd.
I can't think of a mathematically worse way of saying that. Do you see what I'm saying? Like there are worse ways of saying that. Actually, I don't know. Hey, kind of tight that you died. Like, you know, whatever, dude. Like, justice is fucking served, dude. You died to fucking end racism, dude. Thanks, George Floyd. We got a W in the court case. Every part of this, from the tone of her voice, like the way she's delivering it, it's just so bad. Thank you, George Floyd, for sacrificing your life for justice, because you and your thousands of millions of people around the world came out for justice. Your name will always be synonymous with justice. I don't know. I feel like if it were up to him or his family, like, they probably wouldn't want him dead. I'm just saying, like... She celebrated 420 today and then had to do a pressy. Yeah, I maybe. Worth 100 million, by the way. Yeah, of course. She's a fucking hard worker, dude. She deserves it, brother. You don't understand. Anyway, let's go back to fucking Greg Gutfeld now, who is so like, it's hard for the poor conservatives. My heart aches for the conservatives that are out and about, you know, trying desperately to find an acceptable way of, you know, looking disappointed with this trial that will not immediately scream that they're basically saying the N-word, okay? Like, that's what the fuck they are looking for right now. They're looking for a way that they can, like, kind of say, like, oh man, justice really wasn't served. It's not easy. It's not easy to do that, okay? It's not easy to do that. So my heart goes out to them. Like, they are the real victims in this situation, obviously. The ones who are still trying to, you know, be as racist as possible in an instance where, you know, justice was, like, seemingly served, you know? So Greg decided to hit the angle of, instead of just straight up saying it, you know what I mean? He hit the angle of, like, here, I'll just leave it up to Greg to mention it, okay?
And now I'm going to just get really selfish. I'm glad that he was found guilty on all charges. Yeah. Even if he might not be guilty of all charges. Oh my God. I am glad that he is guilty of all charges, because I want a verdict that keeps this country from going up in flames.
Bro, when you got Other Fox News commentators audibly groaning at your take. Like, there's another Fox News commentator in the room who's like, oh, come on, Greg. Like, it is so fucking bad. What a loser, dude.
Oh, my goodness.
No. Like, even the other hosts are like, come on. What the fuck?
Oh, my goodness.
No. What do you mean?
Look, Greg.
Dude, you can't be to the right on Judge Jeanine motherfucking Perot, okay? She is a psychopath. She is literally a psychopath. You got Judge Jeanine Perot groaning, dude. This person literally was banned from Fox News, like, for just refusing to admit that Donald Trump lost the presidency. Like, this person low-key was, like, shelved. Her programming was shelved for a while because she was so fucking psychotic that even Fox News was like, dude, you can't. Like, you can't keep being this, like, Dominion software freak. You're not the Mike Pillow, CEO of Mike Pillow broadcaster. You can't do that. That's like Newsmax shit. Like, we can't do that at Fox News. That person is like, keep listening.
What do you mean? No, I'm at least being honest. My neighborhood was looted. I don't ever want to go through that again.
We do not sacrifice individuals for the sake
I'm saying he's guilty. I'm saying I'm glad.
No, Judge Jeanine Perot is saying the woman doubled down repeatedly saying that Muslims can exist. No. I'm almost certain that she turned around and was like saying, no, this is an open and shut case. Like, the Judge Jeanine Perot, I'm pretty sure, said in this instance that it was open and shut. No? Chauvin is the 8th officer convicted of murder since 2005 of over 16,000 killings. Yeah, Judge Jeanine Perot said this. That's why I'm saying this. She said this about the case.
Guilty. And right at around 5:02, they read the verdict guilty on all counts. And get your reaction to that.
Well, clearly the verdict is supported by the facts. This case was extremely unusual. I've tried many murder cases, and I sat as a judge on murder cases. It is rare that you even get a picture of the victim in a murder case, other than maybe an autopsy photo. But here, we had a living, breathing person that the jury was able to relate to every day, day after day, watching the trauma of what he went through, begging for air, begging to breathe. This was...
By the way, this is fucking Judge Jeanine Perot, motherfucker. Like, listen. We're talking about, again, Judge Jeanine Perot. I need you to understand. This is why I was saying, like, this is so psychotic. Like, this case was so open and shut that, like, even conservatives are like, come on. She's not fucking based. Okay, stop saying based about Judge Jeanine Perot. I have to pee so bad. Oh, my God.
Was an emotional as well as an intellectual decision.
No, she's not a good person. This person was literally secretly suspended off of Fox News for engaging in the most psychotic conspiracy theories revolving around the election.
Make no mistake, the facts are solid on this verdict. This verdict will be upheld on appeal. But right now, what people need to understand is that the American justice system works. It works.
Yo, some people in my chat literally are like, wow, murder is bad. Wow, conservative commentator said murder is bad. Fucking based, bro. Sick, dude. Like, yo, where is the bar, guys? Is the bar under the fucking ground? Just set a little bit of a higher expectation for your fellow human beings. You know what I mean?
That people believe in Lady Justice, that if we give it a chance, it can work. And for all those people who want to burn down streets, just let the court do its job, and it will survive.
We'll get more reaction from the panel in a moment. I do want to point out that the family of George Floyd.
Anyway, the bar is in the Mariana Trench, dude. That's where the fucking bar is for conservatives. Our expectations of conservatives. It's literally in the deepest point of the planet. The bar is sunk so low it like came out from the other side. Okay, it's in China. Just kidding. The Earth is flat. I was just testing you guys. Okay. China. All right. Speaking of tests or bars being low, I don't know why. That's not a good fucking segue, but it's top of the hour, boys. It's top of the hour. Every hour. You already know what the deal is. We have a 60-second ad break. I'm going to hit that ad break right now while we continue the broadcast. If you no longer want to see the ads, if you want an ad-free broadcasting experience, all you need to do is subscribe. You can do it for $5. Or you can do it for free by connecting your Amazon Prime account to your Twitch account. You get one free Prime subscription a month. You can use your Twitch Primes here if you'd like. Or also, you can use ad block as well if it works. Most of them don't, but, you know. Go ahead. Later in the evening, I will be... Biden is going to be addressing the country later this evening. Also, here, let me run the ad real quick, though. 1 second. Let me run the ad. The thing I was going to say is I am going to eventually play Uno with the rest of the influencers that are here in the Cash App compound currently. I will, when they tell me, you know, that my time is up, that I have to go, I'm going to raid the Cash App stream that's going on currently. If you want to go watch that, you can do that as well. And then afterwards, after I'm done with the Uno tournament, I will come back. Okay? I will come back, not here, but back at home and restart my broadcast. Okay? Or I'll host them. Like, not raid them, but I'll host them. Okay? So you can stay here if you'd like in the chat and chat about within the community. But I will be back. I will be back later. No roleplay for the time being, boys, okay? No roleplay for the time being. We are not going to be able to do roleplay for the time being. I have to do this and a bunch of other stuff. Wait, there's a second Gutfeld? Oh, Jesus Christ.
Minutes to go, and I got to tell you, I heard Greg a few minutes ago, and I got to tell you, I don't know, Greg is off his meds if he believes that there was not evidence.
Excuse
That's
me?
what I'm saying.
What did you say?
Let me finish.
What did you say?
Excuse
me? What did he say? Am I off my meds?
Not evidence.
You're lucky you're not around here.
Let me finish. If you do not believe that there was not evidence.
Excuse
that's
me?
What I'm saying.
What did you say?
Let me finish.
What did you say?
Bro, why is Greg Gutfeld like operating as though he's been personally slighted? You know what I'm saying? Like, he's like, I can't believe like police can't kill black people with their bare hands. Or in this one instance, a cop that killed a black person with his bare hands, like, is getting his day in court. Like, this is making me so mad. Like, what? Like, why are you personally offended in this instance? Like, what kind of fucking psychotic, like, what level of racism is Greg Gutfeld on right now?
Excuse me? What did he say? Am I off my meds?
Not evidence.
You're lucky you're not around here.
Let me finish. If you do not believe that there was evidence that was supported to support these charges, I got a bridge in Brooklyn to tell you. This judge, as Janine said, conducted a fair hearing.
That is not what I said.
I'm not finished. As Martha said,
you are finished.
Due process actually worked in this case. And when you look at a police officer with his knee on a man's neck, battering, pushing down on that man's neck, that man is...
Greg Gutfeld, no, you are finished. What the fuck does that mean, dude? I don't even want to know. You know what I'm saying? Fuck's he talking about? No, you are finished, dude.
Calling for his mother, calling out for the community, calling out saying he couldn't breathe, and the police officer didn't have
I don't
enough
see him.
in him to take his
Ted, if I could
hands
interrupt.
off of the next.
Okay. Let's watch this while I go pee. Sorry, boys.
Of Dante Wright.
I gotta go pee real
in
bad.
The same
I'm gonna
county, the same
leave you with
area.
Al Sharpton for a second while I go pee.
We still have cases to fight, but this gives us the energy to fight on. And we are determined that we're going to fight until we make federal law the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act must be law. We want to thank all that were involved, especially the Attorney General and the Governor and others. We want to thank President Biden, who the first time he came out of his house during the campaign, he flew to Houston and met with the family and Attorney Crump and I. And he sat there, and I will never forget, he said to George's daughter that I heard you say your father is going to change the world. Well, we can now tell George's daughter she was right. Her father has begun the changing of the world for real. But before we do anything, we first want to pray and thank God, because somehow God made a way. He had mercy. We believe in a God that can even get through the cracks in a jury room and bring conscience and bring truth. And that jury, we want to thank them for letting God give them the strength wherever they are tonight. We want them to know we broke down in tears when we heard the verdict. We had to hold each other and hug in tears because too many nights we've cried. Many of us for decades spent nights in jail. But today we can wipe our tears away and fight on for another day. There's sunlight. We're going to keep going till we bring it for the Eric Gardners and the Breonna Taylors, whose boyfriend is here tonight. Kenny Walker. Sean Bell. So many that did not get this night. This night is for them. Let us pray. Let's lock arms and pray like we can, folks. Where? Come on, Brandon. Where's Filoni? Right here. Come on. Yeah, come on. You and Rodney come up front. You know you's hiding now. Brother Chris, get next to the Attorney General there. Let's pray. Dear God, we thank you for giving us the strength to stand together. Sometimes we would question each other. Sometimes we say this is just going to be a waste of time.
Inshallah, brother.
But somehow you touch us in the midnight hours and teach us to hold on. And that if we would be faithful over a few things, you'd give us the victory over many. We thank you because we know it was not any doing of ours, but your loving kindness and your tender mercy that made tonight possible. Bless those that worked, that made this prosecution something they couldn't deny. Bless those policemen that got on the stand and testified against another policeman. Bless the jury that listened
as an
to
atheist,
the
I'm triggered. Yeah, I don't really care about this stuff. I'm sorry, guys. Like, listen, I'm not a very, I'm not a very religious person in general. I also don't really, like, I'm not a big fan of Al Sharpton in general either. This part of the process is not as interesting or important for me, from my point of view. I mean, question for everyone who didn't think the election mattered. If Trump was still president, do you think he'd pardon Chauvin right now, or do you think he would have counter-programmed an announcement against the verdict reading? Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? God is watching. You want to go to hell, brother? If God is watching all the time, right? So, what's up? Like, it's not going to change whether or not I watch Al Sharpton pray on television. Okay. Donald Trump can't charge. It's not a federal case. That's one. Two, it doesn't fucking matter. Like, this is guys, the reason why I look to Nancy Pelosi on top of looking to what do you call it? The reason why I look to Nancy Pelosi and talk about Nancy Pelosi while I simultaneously r/atheist take, guys, you know I am #1 at respecting people's religious liberties. Give me a fucking break. I don't care about like Al Sharpton doing a televised prayer. Your life is not going to change whether you hear it or not. I'm trying to sneak in as many fucking points of view as I can currently, okay? Anyway, listen. The problems that we talk about here on this broadcast, the problems that reoccur, the patterns that reoccur in the George Floyd case and Dante Wright, from all the way down from the paperwork, all the way down for the training that the officers were taught, all the way up to the criminal justice system. The entire system is fundamentally flawed. The entire system is slanted against black and brown individuals and poor people in general. So it does not matter if Joe Biden is the president or Donald Trump is the president. Sure, there are other aggravating factors when you have a reactionary president. Absolutely. Donald Trump being president galvanizes, emboldens these racist dipshits, right? Certainly. Okay, you understand? I get that. But these issues have been around. These factors, these principles, these fundamentals that are a really, unfortunately, important part of American history. These fundamentals have been around for a very long time. They've been around a lot longer than Joe Biden has, and goddamn Joe Biden has been around for a very long fucking time. And unfortunately, they will continue to be a problem. That's why I make fun of Nancy Pelosi when she says stuff like, oh, I'm glad that, come on, shouts out to George Floyd for dying. You're at Cash App, just go down the hall. Azan. This is not, as I've said already, this is not justice. What happened today is not justice. What happened today is the first step towards justice. What happened today is yet another instance of accountability against the police force, accountability against police brutality. Okay? I can't wait to put you on my banner. What? Fucking Christ, Zach. Okay. As I was saying, what happened today is the first step towards justice. All right?
You saw Derek Chauvin putting his hands behind his back, being handcuffed and let out of the court. What did you think?
Justice.
People were suspecting that Van Jones would cry today, no matter what
I've seen
happens.
so many kids who've done so much less than him walk out of courtrooms in handcuffs with much less evidence. I've seen kids do 20 years, 30 years on snitch evidence. Just one kid testify against another kid and go away to prison. You don't have TV cameras and body cameras and cell phones. So many young people from that community.
He does have really good takes, though.
And cops getting away with murder over and over again. That's what justice looks like. When people all we want is the police to obey the law. We're not asking for anything but that. For the police to obey the law. And when they break the law, they should have handcuffs just like anybody else. We don't want them to be below us or beneath us. They should obey the law. That is what justice looks like.
You saw Derek Chauvin.
Wait, have you looked at Shapiro's Twitter yet? He makes me so mad. I need someone to counter him, please. I already did. Go look under the Ben Shapiro tweet and you'll see my reply. Worth remember the initial statement by the police? Yeah. I was going to talk about this earlier today, but if you want to understand why this entire system is fundamentally corrupt, remind yourself of how this interaction was originally documented by cops. He deleted the ratioed tweet? Shut the fuck up. Okay. They're making fun of you on the Cash App stream? Why? What are they saying? Jesus Christ, that's a 10x ratio. That's, I'm going to jail, boys. That's I think that's illegal. I think I might like literally not be legal, boys. You all played a part in that, so you're going to jail too. Yeah, you're coming to the Cash App streamer jail with me, boys. Let's do it. You look like you're in a prison cell right now. Yeah, a prison cell with bisexual lighting. Anyway, I just going back to the serious thing that we were talking about, but it's like this is how the Minneapolis police originally reported George Floyd's murder, right? They said man dies after medical incident during police interaction. On Monday evening, shortly after 8 p.m., officers from the Minneapolis Police Department responded to a 3700 block of Chicago Avenue South on a report of forgery in progress. Officers were advised that the suspect was sitting on top of a blue car and appeared to be under the influence. 2 officers arrived and located the suspect, a male believed to be in his 40s, in his car. He was ordered to step from his car. After he got out, he physically resisted officers. Officers were able to get the suspect into handcuffs and noted that he appeared to be suffering medical distress. Officers called for an ambulance. He was transported to the Hennepin County Medical Center by an ambulance where he died short time later. So, the reason why I am mentioning this, at no time were the weapons of any type were used and involved in this incident. So, the reason why I'm mentioning this is because if it wasn't for cameras, if it wasn't for body cameras, if it wasn't for the numerous witnesses, if it wasn't for the testimony of the 911 dispatcher, if it wasn't for all of these people coming together and saying, what the fuck are you doing? George Floyd would be like the hundreds of local news stories that you never hear about. So I need you to remember that. That's the reason why, like, this is a first fucking step. And this shit happens all the goddamn time, dude. It went viral because people filmed it, because people were upset, because people were so disturbed. They were so disturbed. Okay, I'll go and watch what AOC is saying in a second. But because people were so fucking disturbed that they got mad, they took to the streets, they showed their righteous anger in this circumstance, and a little bit of change occurred. It shouldn't take this much to get justice. I don't know how to watch AOC's Instagram. I'm not logged on to my Instagram on here, so is it like Instagram.com/AOC and I'll be able to see it, or what's the deal? It should not take this much. Yeah, I can't. I need to log on to my Instagram to be able to watch AOC's live stream, unless you guys have another one. Another link or something. It's like not letting me watch it. I need to log into Instagram to watch it. I'm not going to log into my Instagram on the Cash App. I do need to log in, dude. I do need to literally log in to watch it. This sums it up. Oh yeah, this is one of my favorite Malcolm X quotes. I've talked about this before many times. Here you go. It's the knife in the back.
You feel, however, that we're making progress in this country and worldwide?
No. I will never say that progress is being made. If you stick a knife in my back 9 inches and pull it out 6 inches, there's no progress. You pull it all the way out, that's not progress. The progress is healing the wound that the blow made. They won't even admit the knife is there.
You feel how
Millionaire getting paid millions by companies? What a socialist, says CEO of socialism. Thank you, CEO of socialism. Socialism is when you don't get paid, and the less you get paid, the more socialist it is. Okay. You could watch it later. She's just saying stuff that you saw. Maybe we are at acknowledging the knife is there, almost maybe. I mean, kind of. What am I doing to celebrate 420 and this people, what does this mayor say? George Floyd came to Minneapolis to better his life, but ultimately his life will have bettered our city. The jury, bro, it's so bad, dude. People are trying to desperately here. People are trying to desperately like say something nice, and it's just so bad. It's like you just come across as like a complete out of touch asshole when you say like, oh, it's cool that like George Floyd was murdered. Just don't say that.
Hello. Hey, how you doing? How's Gianna doing?
This is Kamala Harris and Joe Biden calling George Floyd's family.
Nothing is going to make it all better, but at least God, now there's some justice.
Right.
And you know, I think a Gianna's coming. My daddy's going to change the world. He's going to start to change it now.
That's right.
Yes. Amen. Start to change it now. So, you've been incredible. You're an incredible family. I wish I were there just with my arms around you. I'm standing here with Cedric. We've been talking, we've been watching every second of this, and the Vice President, all of us, and we're all so relieved. Not just one verdict, all three, really on all three counts. And it's really important. I'm anxious to see.
God, he's so fucking good at mourning, dude.
I really am. And we're going to get a lot
he just is, dude. He's just good at fucking mourning, brother.
We're going to stay at it till we get it done.
Hopefully this is the momentum for the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act to get passed to have you sign.
That and a lot more. Not just that, but a lot more.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Well, this is going to be our first shot at dealing with genuine systemic racism. Look, there's two people here that feel strongly as I do. The Vice President, she wants to say something.
Okay.
I'm just so thankful to the entire family. Your courage, your commitment, your strength has been a strength for so many people for me. And this is a day of justice in America. And your family have been, and history is going to show real leaders at this moment where
the
we need
officers
each
that stood by the way, for those of you asking, for what will happen to the officers that stood by, their case, are we going? Are we going in?
No, check it
Oh,
out.
okay. Their case is going to happen in a couple months, so we're waiting on their case as well.
And in George's name and memory, we are going to make sure his legacy is intact and that history will look back at this moment and know that it was an inflection moment. You had to sacrifice so much, your family did too. But we really do believe that with your leadership and the president that we have in the White House, that we're going to make something good come out of this tragedy, okay?
Let's get over there now. All right. I think, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, boys, girls.
Second table, we're good.
MBs, well, I mean, they just want me to end it when the first table starts, so I'll take a little bit break myself too. Look, I love you guys. I'm gonna host the Cash App stream now. They're gonna go play Uno. Once that's over and done with, like, Will and I are gonna be participating. This is months in advance that we fucking I said that I was gonna do this, but I'm gonna go play some Uno right now with some of your favorite streamers and shit like that. I think Matt Pat is here too, which I think is really cool. I've never met him. I don't know if he's still here, but that was like one person I was like excited to meet, and also excited to hang out with Will and Austin and all them.
And we fucking love you, chat.
Yeah.
Fucking love you.
So I'm going. Yeah, I know it's weird. I know it's like kind of a weird change of pace, but that's literally what I was supposed to do today. And luckily, they allowed me to even stream from here because I had made this obligation prior, and I didn't want to fucking last second like ditch and be like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not coming in." So I am going to host the Cash App stream right now. Okay. And I will try to be back after, as soon as that's over, as soon as that's done. I'm going to most likely go home and you know, start the broadcast again. But you know, some good news here today. Like I said, it's not justice. It's a first step. It's accountability. And you know, that's ultimately a good thing. I know the bar is set very low and it feels shitty sometimes, but you got to take the W's where you can. All right. So hopefully I will win now $1 million of Bitcoin. $100,000 worth of Bitcoin, which could be $1 million. Who knows? How does that work? I don't know. Anyway,
magnets, how do they work?
Yeah, I don't know anything. Okay, all right.
Enjoy the holiday, guys. We missed you already.
Okay, all right. Let me host them. What is it? Is it Cash App, right?
Yeah.
Just Cash App.
If you pull open.
All right, hosting Cash App now. Bye, guys.